Izzle all for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today. Uh, so I don't know if you guys have heard of the news. So this is the third time that we've sent weapons to Ukraine. That we cancel it, we put a freeze on it, send it, put a freeze on it, send it, put a freeze on it, send it. So now Trump is talking about, we need to have Europe send whatever supplies they have because we sent everything. Well, I guess not everything, but we sent a large amount. What's going on, Relax Talk Sport? Like some might good, be good. Okay, thanks, Relax. Um, so Relax Talk Sport. I know you heard about the 12-day war between Israel and Iran. I would say the unexpected war between Israel and Iran because apparently that had caused us to put a freeze on a temporary freeze on Ukraine, being that they were the priority suppliers, or no, they were the support recipients of us giving weapons. And then when the 12-day war happened, we had to send a whole heap of supplies to Israel to defend itself against Iran. And Iran was sending missiles left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. Not that Russia's not sending weapons left and right, but Israel sent a good supply, and that defensive missiles all had to all. So what had to happen was um, Ukraine had to take a back seat, and uh, we averted all the missiles towards Israel to defend itself against Iran, and therefore that pretty much left some very low supplies, very dangerously low supplies, and so now Trump is scrambling to get some missiles back over to Zelensky um, because Russia has ramped up their offense against Ukraine, especially like cities like Kiev. Um, they have ramped up their supplies. They are bombing every night. They are bombing Ukraine every single night, and so this is causing not only America but I was about to say Israel, America and NATO, that being Germany, England, France, and other NATO nations who want to participate because every NATO nation don't want to participate, and this is causing a strain on if Relax and Talk Sports. If we were go into war to defend ourselves, apparently there's a certain level that we say, oh, you know what, we have to cap out because we have to have a certain amount of supplies and reserves for ourselves. And because we have dipped into that, we have, first of all, Biden has already dipped into that long before Trump got into office. By the time Trump got into office, we were sending them supplies, and then the whole 12-day war happened. We had to avert that. So, yeah, we are dangerously low on defense right now if we were to go to war. And we can only allow ourselves to go so low. It's like you driving a car and you're not necessarily on E, but when you get to three-quarters empty, you become concerned about where you drive until you get to the gas station. But until you get to the gas station, you're very selective about where you travel before you can get to the gas station. This is the best analogy that I can use right now because I can't think of anything else. But I'm driving right now, so I'm thinking, yeah, I think the gas analogy would be relatable as to see the type of dangers we're in with our stockpiles. And so, yeah, I mean, a sensible person, because some people will drive it all the way to the E until they get past the E. I guess we've all been teenagers, and I guess this is what teenagers do when they first get their car. They'll get right past the E and they just let it keep on going. And so we have to, with experience being adults, let's say the E is right here, we let it get to maybe here's the full tank, here's half a tank, here's like three quarters of a tank. We begin to say, okay, it's time to go to the gas station. Well, unfortunately, when it comes to weapons, uh, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more crucial because, as opposed to us just pulling up to a gas station and filling our tank, if it gets that low, we can do that. But when our supplies, our stockpile gets so low, it to replenish it, to replenish these missiles, to replenish these ammunition supplies, HIMARS, whatever type of weaponry we lose for in defense and offense, it takes us a while to restore that. And our capacity to restore versus the capacity we're sending, especially the stuff that we sent to Israel. Remember, Israel, the 12-day war was unsuspected. That was not on the agenda. And so the supplies were already getting low because of what Biden had sent down the pipeline. And now imagine whatever supplies that we were obligated, well, that Biden, whatever package was scheduled to be sent to Ukraine, got disrupted by the Israel Iran conflict, the 12-day war. So President Trump is in a bit of a pickle. And this is why Donald Trump and NATO keep hounding Putin about a ceasefire. Putin at this point he don't want a ceasefire. He want to keep going because Russia has gotten into a rhythm. They have gotten into such a rhythm. They are like taking down oblasts. They're encircling, and once they get the encircling, then the outer forces begin to connect to where it's a full circle and they're surrounded. Um, if you look on the maps, yeah, this is how the Russian groups do an encirclement. Black Sun, hey, what's going on, Pico? Pico, what's going on? So yeah, they do like an encirclement. Once they do the encirclement, then the two teams connect, and once they connect, then the any routes going outside of that circle is cut off by the Russians. So now you're fully surrounded. Next thing you know, you are fully surrounded, and then they just kind of clamp down on whatever Ukrainian forces are there, whether they obliterate them or take them prisoners. Either way, that encirclement is very effective. It works very, very well. And so uh, this is the dilemma. Thanks, Pico. Hey, thanks, y'all. Thanks, appreciate that. Pico been in the house. Pico's in his house. So this encirclement is very effective. And so when you have not only supplies running low, but manpower running low, you have conscripts that they're just getting off the streets. People say, "Oh no, those are actually Russians." Okay, whether and I always go back to this. My standing is always Russia is gaining ground. Whether they got conscripts, whether true or false, or those are Ukrainian conscripts, true or false, Russia is gaining territory. And them gaining territory is the more territory gain, the less and less and less and less realistically Zelensky can obtain his goals because now the Russians have more territory. First of all, you negotiated if when you went to Istanbul, you had they still had parts of Luhansk they could have negotiated. This no longer once, Putin said their doctrine is once a Russian boot touched that ground, that's Russia. So Zelensky is having less and less and less territories to negotiate with, to work with, to you're losing territories. You're losing territories and you're not going to get that back. It is impossible, especially with the supply chain running low. Uh, of course, the Ukrainian people are not getting the same information we're getting because Zelensky has blanked out their media. They're killing journalists. They are censoring, just like Israel was censoring too. But that's a whole other video. We're going to deal with Israel at another point. But the point I'm making is that you have uh, you have the Ukrainian people being put in the dark about the reality of the situation, and so I guess it's very effective the censorship because as long as the people believe, Ukrainian people believe that they still have a fight, they will continue to fight. But the thing is I don't even think they're aware of that. They're fighting on borrowed equipment. They're fighting on borrowed time. They're fighting on borrowed equipment from countries that are running low. Again, every NATO nation, including America, is running low on supplies. And so, how realistic can you be, Zelensky, as far as gaining the territory back when you don't have the resources to do that? When you're begging for money, borrowing money, however you want to, begging, borrowing, you know, tomato, tomato, potato, potato. If you have to borrow money to gain territory, it seems like you're in a hole. It's like and I don't want to use, I'm sure everybody is relatable as far as like credit to debt ratio and credit scores and all that. You can get so much in a hole that it is hard to climb out. Like let's say you're on the top of the world, you're at 780, you get inquiries and you're buying up stuff, medical dental comes up, and so your score begins to sink. You get inquiries, you borrow money, you got a new car, and next thing you know, your credit score is down to, let's say, 547. So your debt ratio, income to debt ratio, is like, okay, you got to play catch up now. But if you borrow money, that's an inquiry. So that's more. So you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and this is what Zelensky is doing. Zelensky is robbing Peter to pay Paul because it takes outdoing the Russians with supplies, with manpower, with technology, drones, tanks, whatever equipment you want to talk about. You're talking about where the Russians are producing their own material in an abundance every day. They're coming out with endless supplies of weapons, hammers, missiles, drones, endless supplies, weapons, bullets, and they have plenty of manpower, meaning they got plenty of boots on the ground. And by them having so much boots on the ground, you're absorbing Ukraine's manpower. So even if you get the money for the tanks, get money for the missiles, the defense, and we already saw how the defense, Israel, who was supposed to have one of the best defense domes in the world, We saw how that worked out because Iran had so many missiles. So when firing the defense missiles, you don't know which missiles are dud and which are real. So Iran sent so many, and they had duds as a decoy. So if you got a missile going, you have all these missiles. All my fingers are missiles. These are 5 missiles, and your defense comes out, or let's just say your defense missiles come out. Some of these missiles are going to be duds. You're not going to hit all of them. Obviously, I mean, just look at the video. Look on well, they're not going to say TikTok, but on social media that allows it, Rumble, X, Telegram. You've seen how the missiles were hitting in the city. So Ukraine has less than what Israel has. Ukraine does not have an Iron Dome, and Russia has far more missiles than Iran. Israel has more defense missiles than Ukraine. Russia has more offensive missiles than Iran. So if Israel was able, Israel's like, yo, we need a ceasefire. And Trump was able to get a ceasefire with Iran. Putin not. Putin's like, no, we're not doing a ceasefire. So imagine what Israel went through with Iran, and they were not able. And again, let me say this again: Israel was supposed to have the best dome defense in the world, and they were not able to stop all those missiles Iran sent. Russia has way more missiles than Iran, and Ukraine doesn't have a defensive dome. Think about that. Let that let that. Now y'all are intelligent, so it's not gonna take that long. It's not gonna take y'all that long to figure out. Oh, yeah, Ukraine is screwed. And this is a constant bombardment. Like they're doing a bombardment right now. They were doing the bombardment 5 hours ago, and they're gonna do the bombardment and within the next plus 6 hours, 12 hours. They're not stopping. It's constant. It's constant. It's constant. And so um, NATO's in the frenzy right now. They're like, damn, what do we do? We used to be NATO and America was able to bluff for all these years. We were able to take on like Libya. We were able to take on, I don't know, Iraq. We were able to take on these smaller countries, but with a major power like Russia, with a major power like Russia, like I said, we saw what Iran did to Israel, and Russia has way more. So it's man, it's an impossible situation for Zelensky. Zelensky, it's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. It is impossible for Zelensky to get himself out of this hurdle, out of this uh, conundrum that he's in. There's not enough money to borrow. There's not enough missiles to borrow. I don't care if NATO and America jumped into the war. You're not getting those territories back. I come on here every day and I be like thinking, and I'm thinking to myself, what have they, has NATO, yeah, NATO knows about Zelensky, what he wants, his end game, because they were putting his battery in his back. Who on our sides, beside the military industrial complex, is egging this on? I look at Trump sometimes and I'm like, Trump is not getting all the information because, you know, let's look at Tulsi Gabbard and let's look what she said about Iran. She said Iran does not have any nuclear weapons. And Trump was like, I don't care. They're building nuclear weapons. Okay, whole different story, but I'm just trying to say that if Tulsi Gabbard is your intelligence officer, she gathers from all the different agencies and she gives you information, and you're not going on that information, and you're just Trump. You're somebody is giving you the wrong information, especially when it comes to Russia. Somebody is not telling you Zelensky's in game, but you got to know because you talk to him. Donnie, you talk to damn Zelensky and you talk to damn Putin. You already know Putin's in game. And I'm sure Putin, because it's written down what he wants. He said denazification, demilitarization, um, recognize the Russian language culture, which is kind of vague on, but it's better than what Zelensky's asked for. It's more realistic, even though it's kind of vague, you know. And I'm not saying Putin is no saint. You know, Putin, by him being vague, it makes me look at Putin sideways. Like, yeah, Putin, you kind of looking evil right now within all that vagueness, but it's within reason. Even though you may not like Putin and Putin, oh, he's an evil dictator, it's still, even though it's vague, it's still more rational and more realistic than what Zelensky is asking for. And this is what I look at. I look at what Zelensky's asking, and I look at what Putin's asking for, and I'm like, what is more realistic? What is more rational, and what will end the war quicker? What is more rational? What Putin is asking for, if you look at his demands, is way more rational, and he was willing enough to give up, negotiate the territories that now it is worse because the longer this war continues, the less territory, and I've said this before, the less territory Zelensky has to work with. And now all that's off the table because last time when they were supposed to go to Turkey, Istanbul, and negotiate, Luhansk wasn't fully conquered. You know, Luhansk wasn't conquered until July 1st. So now you got three more territories about to be enclosed, about to be engulfed. And Putin gave his doctrine: wherever the Russian boots land, that's where we conquer. And this has been the doctrine since the age of warfare. Pick any country, pick any conflict, any time period. Wherever those boots lands, you fight, you conquer that land. You keep that land. That land is the spoils of your labor of war. And so this doctrine has not changed, but it seems like Trump and NATO, they're trying to change the game. They're like, oh, well, even though you're winning, we still want you to do a ceasefire. Why would I cease fire? If the cops are, I was going to say if the cops, but I don't even want to talk like that, or SWAT. But if, do you guys remember Ruby Ridge? Press one in the chat if you guys remember Ruby Ridge. Do you guys remember Ruby Ridge? This might be before y'all time. Press one in the chat. Or do you remember the Waco incidents? That was more recent than Ruby Ridge. Ruby Ridge is an older event. Let's see. I think we're like, okay, yep. Okay, Agent Orange remembers Ruby Ridge. Okay, so Ruby Ridge, or we could even use Waco, Texas. Imagine the ATF they surrounded both Ruby Ridge and Waco. So this analogy works for both situations. Imagine them surrounding your compound, you having a shootout with them, never seen it. Oh, Relax Talk Sports. Yeah, you might be young, bro. You might be. What are you, 32? Yeah, this is some old. Yeah, back in the day, especially in the 90s, we had a lot of shootout events under Clinton. We had Ruby Ridge, we had Waco, we had a lot of militias fighting the government during the Clinton administration. And so I say that to say this. You can look it up on YouTube, either the Waco incidents, Waco, Texas, or the Ruby Ridge, either one. The Ruby Ridge family actually, I want to say, no, they didn't. The dad survived. The wife and the son got killed. Everybody in Waco, majority of them, I think only maybe a handful of them got arrested, but the majority of them got killed because they set the place on fire and wiped them out. I want to use that analogy because once the police, the ATF, and the local sheriffs, local law enforcement surrounded them, now mind you, in Waco, when they were trying to bust in, 3 of the agents got shot and killed. And so once the agents got whiff, oh, they done shot, killed 3 of our people. All right, we're going to take them out. So at that point, there is no ceasefire. Like once you got agents surrounding your house, law enforcement in any state, federal, state, it don't matter, and you take out 3 of their people, there is no ceasefire. And once they start shooting, they're going to shoot until let's see, Agent Orange here says Ruby Ridge was a standoff with the government. That's a fact, Agent Orange. Agent Orange also says Waco was a religious set minding their own business and the feds wiped them out, men, women, and children. This is a fact, Agent Orange. So now that we know the story, Agent Orange, did David Koresh have any legs to stand on once his people killed those agents to demand a ceasefire? I'm just wondering. Because it's usually the winning team that will say, hey, hold up, ceasefire. So the agents, the ones that are winning, have to call the ceasefire. I think we understand this, and this is why I use Ruby Ridge and Waco. Because no matter what, once those agents were killed, David Koresh could not demand a ceasefire. Now, Ruby Ridge might have been different because, again, once the son and the wife got killed, they were able to negotiate a ceasefire, but the losing team has to put their arms down and put their hands up. Say they have to initiate the ceasefire. Hey, yo, we're giving up. Hey, no, stop shooting. Hey. And they have to, the ceasefire comes from the losing team. So the ceasefire has to come from the people at Ruby Ridge, which the dad was able to come out of it alive. Waco, Texas, once you dumped on them 3 agents, it was up to those agents to determine whether they want a ceasefire or not. They were like, nah, you killed 3 of our agents. There ain't no ceasefire happening. Waco and them, they were burning up. They started sending tear gas in there. Losing team has no chips left to bargain with. Agent Orange. So let's go through the BS. What is Zelensky doing? I don't know how long you've been here, Agent Orange, but Zelensky wants back territories that is fully engulfed by the Red Army. Like Agent Orange just said, the losing team cannot make the demands on the winning team and say, "Oh, you guys need to cease fire." So what the hell is Trump asking Putin to do? Extending the grift, tons of contractor money. Well, Agent Orange, I'm glad that you brought that up because Blackwater, was it BlackRock? I said Blackwater. BlackRock, the contractors pulled out of Ukraine, and they were the big investors, biggest contractors. I'm glad you brought that up. They pulled out. They said, man, they see the writing on the wall. They pulled out, and Blackwater, as you know, I don't have to tell you, are the biggest contractors. especially when dealing with war contracts. They said, "No, we pulling out of Ukraine. We're pulling out of Ukraine." They just announced this last Saturday. Was it 4th of July? Once they saw that Putin took, when they said the Red Army took goddamn Luhansk, they were like, "Oh yeah, we not," and the Russians are still coming. We got to pull out. There's no pushing the Russians back. There's no pushing the Russians back. Now, yeah, people might complain on both sides, say, "Oh, Putin's moving slow," but he's moving. He's moving, and so those contractors, yeah, Black Rock, not Blackwater, Blackwater mercenaries. Black Rock pulled out. I don't know if do you know about that, Agent Orange? Munitions aid, U.S. monies unaccounted for. It's a money bath. I mean, yeah, but eventually, man, when you got Russia coming in, you got to pull out at some point. I mean, it's like a dope dealer. I want to use dope dealers. I don't want to use that analogy. As much as Zelensky is a money hungry bandit, I don't want to even call it, I don't want to put him on the level of a dope dealer. But when you see Black Water or Blackwater, Black Rock, which is a contracting company, which is largest, saw how the Russians are moving. And now they're seeing that Putin, they got wind, somebody got the intelligence that Putin is about to crank it up. He's about to move a little bit faster. Putin is about to move a little bit faster. And Black Rock got wind of this and they said, we're pulling out. And again, Agent Orange, they are the largest investors, as you know. I mean, there's plenty of investors, but Black Rock are the largest. And they said, we got to pull out. We got to take our losses. You know, all these billions and trillions of dollars we're anticipating and all that, the Russians are coming. And I think that sobered them up. You know, I think a lot of these corporations get on a, ooh, we about to make money high. I think it's almost like a drunk sober. Oh, we about to make so much money. They got whiffed of the Russians are coming. Like, really, the Russians are coming. That sobered them up. It's like, we got to go. And usually corporations like that don't give up lightly. They don't just give up like their anticipated investments. They don't give that up. And they're like, no. But the Russians sobered them up. When you got Russians coming or any type of force coming, whatever major force is coming like that, it sobered them up to where, yeah, we got to bounce. We got to take our losses. And usually BlackRock is used to winning. They're used to, you know, they all through the Middle East, Iraq, I don't know, name a place they've have collected on their investments. Ukraine, they're like, no, we got to pull out because they see what's coming. Because Putin is getting pressure to let's stop making this a special operations and let's turn this into some real warfare. Let's make this a real war. Let's show them how Mother Russia gets down, and let's show them how we Ruskies do it. Let's show them because they think we're playing around with this special operations thing. And special operations is not necessarily like a real war. And the people of Russia are demanding, the generals are demanding that it's time to crank this into a real war. Y'all let me know if my signal acts up because I'm at the house. And when I'm at the house, my house internet disrupts my regular internet on my phone. So if it cuts out, that means the house signal is about to disrupt it. And I hate it's going to disrupt because, you know, I wanted to close out by saying this. Y'all press the one in the chat if y'all can still hear me because I'm at the house. Good so far. Okay, thanks, Agent Orange. Agent Orange, let me just close out and say this. Zelensky goal to take back Crimea, Luhansk. If you look at the map right now, whatever's in the red, Zelensky wants all that back. And by the way, they're not telling Zelensky that the second force they sent in the Kursk is in Russia. Zelensky calls himself trying to send people to occupy Kursk, a section of Russia, so he can have negotiating shit. They were wiped out. I don't even think they're telling Zelensky at this point what's really going on. I don't think they're telling Zelensky what's going on, and I don't think our people over here are telling what Trump what's going on. I honestly don't believe Trump knows what's going on. I think they're keeping information from him, and I think they're keeping, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen to Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know if she's going to quit. I don't know if she's going to be forced to resign, but they're not liking the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is telling the truth about the situation, like I said, especially with Iran. So imagine Iran did what they did to Israel. What Iran did to Israel is nothing compared to what Russia's doing to Ukraine. And imagine if they're holding that information of how much damage Iran did to Israel, imagine what they're holding back from Trump as in regards to Ukraine. Trump did admit that, yeah, Ukraine is hard. So he knows that. But why is Trump not lining up Zelensky's demands versus Putin's demands? Because even if you don't like Putin, it's still rational and reasonable and realistic. Zelensky's demands, even if you like Zelensky, if you're rooting for Zelensky, his demands are unrealistic. And this is why people are trying to escape. Relax says, Black Sun, before you go, what do you think about China supplying anti-air systems to Iran? Um, what I think, Relax Talk Sports, I think China is an independent country and they can help who they want to. Relax and talk sports because you're a brother. To answer your question, what do you think about Ibrahim Traore kicking out the Europeans and all the other African nations starting to emulate and copy what Ibrahim Traore is doing? Let me ask you that. So I'm gonna answer your question. China's an independent country and they can help who they want to help. Russia, if they decide they want to help Iran, they can help who they want to help. China, Russia, and Iran have a BRICS alliance. They have an alliance, and it's in Russia and China's best interest to protect Iran. So, what do I think about that? I think that they have a right to protect who they want. So, Rags Talk Sports. I mean, I don't know if you've watched the videos that I've posted about Ibrahim Traore. I mean, before I go, how do you feel about Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso and how he handled the French? What's going on, Black Sun? Hey, what's going on, Kelly Ray? What is going on? I'm hey Kelly, man, I'm about to head in the house. Um, Relax Talk Sports said, I believe it has been time for Africa to stand up. Yeah, and you know what's so funny about this situation? And just like you answer that question, how do I feel about China, supporting Iran? Ibrahim Traore, you gotta be disappointed in Bondi and Patel. Oh gosh, you didn't see the video I did yesterday. Oh gosh, no, hey, why you gotta come in now? That was you would have came to the show yesterday because I talked about that yesterday. I talked about the whole Epstein list and all that yesterday, and damn, you put me on the spot, Kelly. You put me on the spot with that one because I made a video yesterday responding to that, and You obviously didn't catch it. You didn't catch my video yesterday. Agent Orange caught my video yesterday. So, damn. Before I go, Kelly, can I ask you to watch that video that I did? Watch that video and please leave a comment on it. Cause I already spoke on that, man. I already spoke on that damn situation, and I already spoke on that. MD. Oh, perfect. This is the man I want to talk about, Ibrahim Traore. This is the man, MD. Oh yeah, I want to do a show, MD, on Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. That's what I want you to debate. I want you to debate that situation. I want you to debate, goddamn, vassal state. My bad. Uh-oh, wait, what did MD? See, y'all coming in late. Damn, I'm at the house. Damn, MD. Africa will just become casual, a casual state for the crumbling Russian. Oh my God. See, MD, he be, oh God. MD, come on, MD. MD, last time you were here, you said if Europe loses Africa, they're done. This is what you said, MD. And MD, he's too intelligent to know that the Russian economy, the American economy, the European economy, did I say Russian economy, the Chinese economy, it all traced back to Sahel Africa. We know that. Even goddamn Yemen and Saudi Arabia, well, Saudi Arabia may not so much. We know that it traced back to Africa. Come on, MD, let's not play. Why you want to do the? Why does MD? What's going on, Chubb? Why does MD? Why does MD? Why does MD? Why does MD? Why does MD want to argue about? Why does he want to bait me on economics when Africa is the true breadbasket of the world, especially with the raw resources? Why you want to go there, MD? MD, how is Russia crumbling? Thank you, Relax Talk Sports. How can they crumble economically when they got Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger? Oh yeah, AESO, Nigeria's getting on board. Thanks to Donald Trump. Thank you, Donald Trump. Russia is crumbling. Right. I don't know about that one either, Kelly. I don't know what. See MD coming in here with that, and I'm just like, MD. Ibrahim Traore, let's concentrate, MD. You always try to throw a monkey wrench. Ibrahim Traore, let's concentrate on Africa, where all this is coming from. Okay? We know for all these civilizations to be established, Europe, China, Iran, Russia, America, the resources all come from Africa. Like, son, you making my point. I'm making your point by saying that Russia is backing Russia, China, Iran, possibly India, Pakistan, all these powers that BRICS has formed under the Biden administration is crumbling. So you're saying that the G7 is more powerful economically than BRICS? I don't think so. MD, we were there when BRICS formed under the Biden administration. We were there. And you mean to tell me that the G7, that the Russian economy is in a worse state than Europe? Until you create the show with me and you on it. Again, MD, I want to talk about Ibrahim Traore. I want to talk about the source. I don't want to damn play tennis and go back and forth with Iran, Israel, Russia, America. I want to talk about the source. I want to talk about Africa. I want to talk about Ibrahim Traore and how all these African nations are, as Relax and Talk Sports says, finally breaking the European yoke up off of them because the backing of Russia, North Korea, and China. That's what I want to talk about, because if we're not talking about the source, then we're just mentally masturbating. We'll both be battling. We'll both be battling. So all I'm saying is, before I want a title. I specialize in warfare. I specialize in warfare. And Europe and America is not going to rush up and try to create any coups in Africa because Ibrahim Traore has the backing and the intelligence of the Chinese, Russian, and Iranian government, and North Korea too. So it's not going to be the same game because Africa never had that type of backing, and Africa are looking at their other fellow countrymen, and they're making moves. They're making moves while Europe is struggling in shambles. It's gotten so bad. Donald Trump is accusing Russia of stealing weapons, that Russia stole weapons under the Obama administration. I'm just like, man, Trump, you grasping for straws. Donald Trump is doing an MD, or is MD doing a Donald Trump? What's going on, y'all? No, me and MD, man, we cool. It's just that he likes to pivot the conversation because he doesn't want to take me on in my wheelhouse. So he wants to grab me into his wheelhouse, which deals with the economy, and then he wants to go into all to this spiel. It don't matter. They have the backing of Africa. He moves the goalpost. Yeah, he does. He does move the goalpost. Okay, here's the title. Will Burkina Faso control their own resources after running out France? See, you see how he does that? Because he's already going to say, oh well, Russia's in charge of that. They darted to Russia. I already see where you're going, MD, and that's a cool title. But we know you can win that argument by simply stating, oh well, now they're indebted to China, they're indebted to North Korea, they're indebted to Russia. I already see where you're going with that. Come on, MD. We were both in that debate league. Come on now, we already know, bro. You just want to win the debate. And I already know what you're going to do. You're going to say that Burkina Faso, Mali, all those Sahel, the AES, the alliance is going to be indebted to Russia. Indebted, and you're going to make your point, and I'm going to be like, well, I agree. And if I agree with you, then guess what? Give me one. Okay. He wants me to give him a title. Um, can Zelensky win his demands with the help of the U.S. and NATO? That's a debate because people are losing their lives over that, MD. I think that's a fair title. It's a long title, but can, with the help of Donald Trump, Macron, Stromer, Schultz, all these, well, not Schultz, the other German guy, with the help of all of NATO, along with the U.S., can we help Zelensky achieve his goals? And you already know what Zelensky's goals are. I'll debate that. Let's debate that. And you claim that, oh, Russia's broke and this and that. Can Zelensky achieve his goals with the help of U.S. and NATO? Wait a minute. I thought we were talking about Ibrahim. Okay, well, Ibrahim Traore, but you're going to go with the economics. You're going to say that, oh, that comes with a price. I already know where you're going with this. I already know where you're going with it. And if I agree, I lose the debate. We know how the structure goes. We know how that. Come on, come on, man. You are an alumni out of the whole that debate league that we were in too, man. Come on, man. We know how that works, man. I'm programmed the same way you programmed because of how that was. The minute you agree, you lost the debate. So yeah, I would like to discuss Ibrahim Traore, but with all you're going to say, with all the backing and less likelihood of America and France and Europe coming back and taking Africa and taking back the resources, it ain't going to happen because now we got Russia. But Blackson, Ibrahim Traore is going to be indebted to Putin. He's going to be indebted to Xi Jinping. He's going to be indebted to Kim Jong Un. He's going to be indebted to Iran, and that's a good argument. See, I can tell where you're going by the way you structured your argument, but I think I have a better argument because my argument, people are losing their lives. over Zelensky's wanting to take back the territories. MD, come on, man. Let's come on. Ain't no war started in Africa yet. When Ibrahim Traore said, "Yo," he told Macron, "Get your people up out of here." Macron got his people up out of there. Did he not, MD? You remember when they were driving the jet? Allahu Akbar, driving the jet, did a U-turn. You remember that? We were there. We were there when goddamn when they gave the eviction notice to France. We were there, MD. And we were laughing about how they were doing goddamn donuts in the jets saying Allah Allahu Akbar. We were there, MD. So come on, we were already there, MD. We were there. We were there when BRICS formed. All this formed under the Biden administration when we were rocking out doing the shows. All this unfolded. We were there with goddamn Wagner. We were there, MD. Right, you laughing. Right, we were there. Allahu Akbar doing the jet. Allahu Akbar did a whole 360. We were there. Right, you laughing. And it was funny. It was funny, but it wasn't funny to the French. It wasn't funny to Macron. Those French troops were terrified. They're like, we getting up out of here. Because these Allahu Akbar Africans are crazy. And when they're not going to put our heads on the pike, we out. So France talks all that yaki, but they weren't doing that yaki when they were up in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. They got the hell up out of there. They ain't gonna do no hadud on us. Hell no. They ain't gonna do no no, you ain't I'm keeping my them French soldiers are like, we keeping our heads on our shoulders. We're out. These motherfuckers in jets talking about Allahu Akbar. So they got all this equipment and they got the intelligence backed by by the way, MD. They tried to do an assassination of even one of they tried to pay off, they caught them. What do you think happened to them guys them Europeans that tried to pay one of Ibrahim's top guys to try to assassinate him? They tried to do a Thearenauncensored, the guy before him, the predecessor. They tried to do, they tried to pay him. Ibrahim's on top of the game because he has the Russian intelligence, Chinese intelligence, Iranian intelligence. Something that a lot of the predecessors of all these different African countries never had before. Shout out to Relax and Talk Sports. This is why it's different. We'll talk about Z-Man then, looking forward to it. No, but what, okay, so I guess we're not having a debate. You just want to talk about, okay, so I guess it's a light debate. I guess you want to show me Zelensky's end game, and we're gonna talk. Okay, so all right, hold on. Let me get a. All right, everybody. I think we're gonna establish, and I don't even know if it's really a debate because, I mean, if you want it to be a debate, we can. We can have Trevor and Vincent be the judges. We can do that. We can have them judge it. If you want to debate, have a formal debate about, or a light debate, or just a discussion, Putin's end game versus Zelensky's end game, which is more rational. I'm taking Putin because I'm the Russian propagandist, so I'm saying Putin's end game is more reasonable, more rational, more realistic. What says you, MD? Is Zelensky's end game more reasonable, rational, more realistic? Let me be the judge. Okay, Relax and Talk Sport. Hey, Relax and Talk Sports wouldn't be a judge, MD. Can he be a judge? Because I think he should be a judge too. I think we should have we should have an odd number where it'd be 3 or 5 panel judges. I think we should do that. MD. We should set it up, and Relax Talk Sports will be in the panel. Poor guy can't get in the house and enjoy his evening. Love you, brother. Oh, Agent Orange, man, you cool. You cool as hell, man. Let me give you. Hey, come back to the show, brother. See, now you got a wrench, man. You entitled to come back, man. Hope you come back, man. Agent Orange. Yeah, let me get in the house, man. MD, whose goal is more realistic? Who's more rational? Vladimir Putin's end game or Zelensky's end game? I'll take Zelensky's side, no problem. Cool. We got a debate. Y'all, we got a debate. Now I can end the show. Who's more rational? Who's more reasonable? Who's more realistic on the end game? MD's going to defend Zelensky. This is going to be fun. Roland sent me a while ago. Oh shit, her Roland. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Roland, man. Shout out to Roland. Found the beautiful, lovely Roland. Oh man, shout out, man. Shout out. Shout out to you, Agent Orange. Shout out to Miss Roland, the beautiful, lovely Miss Roland. Okay, y'all, this is gonna be interesting. MD, who's a good, nice debater. He's a nice debater. He even debated the damn yeah, he's debated. He has the good debate skills. He's gonna debate Zelensky's side. I'm gonna debate Putin's side. Who's more rational? Who's more reasonable? This is gonna be good. Arena's back. Yeah, we back, baby. We back. And man, you defending Zelensky, it's gonna be good because you're gonna help me see the side of NATO. And whatever they convince Trump of, I don't know how the hell they convinced Trump, but again, Trump was talking shit. They released some damn transcripts. We're gonna talk about it in another video. I'm gonna probably talk about that tomorrow about him saying, "Oh, I'm gonna bomb Russia. I'm gonna bomb Russia." Yeah, I've heard them. I'm not biased, so should be good. No, no, no. We trust you, talk sport. Like I said, man, we all family, man. It's all good. It's gonna be fun, man. He's a good debater, but he's gonna work. I don't have to work very hard because I'm gonna. I mean, Zelensky wants all that territory back. He wants to go all the way back to the Obama administration when goddamn Obama just said let Russia have goddamn Crimea. But I ain't gonna give away too much. Zelensky wants all that back. So man, you got some work ahead of you. You got some work ahead of you, MD. But MD, he loves the challenge. He loves the challenge. So he has to convince y'all that Zelensky has a better end game than Putin. That it's more rational, more reasonable. All right, y'all. Let me get going, man. Shout out to Agent Orange, man. Welcome to the arena. Relax and talk sports. Shout out to MD, man. Hey, you got some work ahead of you. Shout out to yeah, Relax and Talk Sports. Message MD, man, and we'll set it up. Make you a judge. So that means we'll have MD, Venkat. We'll have Relax and Talk Sports. So we need probably that's three right there. So that's an odd number. So yeah, let's do this. Let's set it up to where we can do this debate, man, and have it. So shout out to Kelly Ray. Did I see? I thought I saw. Oh, shout out to Chubbs. Yep, Chubbs is in here. I thought I saw. God dang. I know I'm seeing stuff. I must be seeing. I thought I saw Jesse in here. Did I see Jesse or I'm just no? I'm seeing stuff. I thought I saw Jesse. P. Cobes, yeah, shout out to P. Cobe, man. All right, y'all, let me get going, man. I'm sitting up here sucking up gas because it's hot and the AC is sucking up my gas. So, with that being said, man, I'm out, y'all. Yep, y'all subscribe to MD channel. We're gonna debate who has a better end game, Zelensky or Vladimir Putin. Who has a better end game? So yeah, he's gonna work for that because I don't. All I got to do is do the bench. I, debate is good. Virtuoso and violence, not so much. Vitriol, not so much. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a good debate, man. And I'm curious to hear MD's side because MD will make sense of it, unlike NATO and unlike Trump, who I voted for. He can't even make sense of this. So if anybody can make sense of this, MD can make sense because Zelensky himself is not making sense of this. So MD's he's gonna play lawyer for the Green Man, for the Green Goblin. He's gonna play lawyer. So we're gonna hear this argument. I have not heard an argument yet, and I've listened to everybody in NATO. And you even got people. You got Hungary, who's part of NATO, saying, "Yo, Zelensky lost his mind." And so many. I'm paraphrasing. Hungary, Slovakia, like they're like, "Yo, Zelensky has lost his mind. There's no way he's taking back Russia." You got NATO falling apart. NATO, haha, Money grabbers. Yeah, that's who he's going to defend, Agent Orange. So if anybody could defend it, if anybody could defend it, but it ain't gonna be easy. MD can defend it. If anybody can defend it, he can defend it. So yeah, MD, you got some work on you got some work. Let's just say the work you put in is gonna be harder than the work I put in. The work I put in is not gonna Jesus Christ. All right, y'all, let me get going. I'm out, y'all. Peace.